Hi everyone, this is Jess, aka Sketchwriter Jess. It's mental health check-in. I had done an earlier video and it didn't upload right, and it was really long. It was like over an hour. I don't know how long this one will be, but there were some things in it where I was really, really glad I talked about them, and other things where I thought, maybe I should just leave that alone. So, today's topic is, can you be psychic and have bipolar 1? Bipolar 1 is the bipolar that has the psychotic component. So, just to give you a little history, I I had a psychotic break. Let's see. Oh God, let's say I was 26. I mean, it was over like 12 or so years ago. Ugh, sorry, I'm yawning. um, and I had this break, and I thought I was psychic, and I was saying things that were really strange, and I remember all of it. And it's very rare for somebody with bipolar disorder to remember a psychotic break. And some of them do. Some do remember them. It's rare, but that doesn't mean it never happens. Um, so I remembered everything, and the things that I remembered were things like, like, this is how you be a psychic, but this is not the right way to do it. It's this too, but not this way, and it's not that way either. And it's different for that guy than it is for you. And like, I had this thing where I thought I was psychic, and I would just say weird stuff, and I would like talk about things that didn't make any sense, but like the actual doing of everything, it's like there were things that prepared me for now. And I've told my therapist about this, and she's like, she's she was a little worried about me, because I did start saying that, like, I channel messages. I write in my journal, and I'm able, in my opinion, I'm able to communicate with my late grandfather, who I believe is my guardian angel, but he protects all of us in the family, so it's not just me. And then I have a spirit guide that I won't mention her name because she's been with me from birth, and I just feel like it's a very sacred bond. So, um, but there are some things with that, and I tell my therapist that I'm able to do that. Um, One thing that I haven't been totally honest with her about is how intuitive I think I am. I don't think I can read people's minds. What I do think, though, is I can tap into an energy. I can tap into the general energy of the consciousness of what's going on today. Almost like, how like you listen to music, like you hear like a song and you think it's really wonderful, and then like maybe you learn about the band, and then like you meet other people that listen to their music, and it's like you guys have the same kind of ideas about it, that you like the music, and that um, it moves you in a way, and it's kind of almost maybe even spiritual, um, and you feel like you're connecting with each other that way. Well, I feel like, so I'm yelling. I had recorded my video way earlier and watched it. It was like an hour long, but it didn't upload. I think it's probably best for just my viewing. But anyways, um, I'm thinking that with music, like, it's the same kind of thing like music, where like a song will travel and lots of people will understand it. And then like when the people get together, the fans get together, they start to feel the energy, and it's almost like a collective. Like, that's how I would identify a collective, as like people who kind of are into the same thing. They're not quite meeting each other yet, but they're kind of in the same group, and they're into the same kind of philosophy. I mean, it's not quite like organized religion, you know. I think when you have tarot readers and they tap into an energy, it's more like a music energy, like that that feeling you get when you listen to a song or something resonates with you. Um, and you feel vibes, you know, like music can have vibes to it. So I feel like it's the same kind of thing. If you think about it, a tarot reader, you know, you hear their voice. So I think that, you know, that's kind of similar. Obviously, if you read something by a tarot reader, you don't hear the voice, but you still get some kind of energy just through the way they write their words. Um, so I think it's a very similar thing. And with my psychotic break in the past, I thought I was a psychic. I thought I was marrying a rock star. I thought all sorts of crazy things, and I had gotten in arguments with fans and over something with the band, and it was just crazy. But it wasn't all about that. It was about my awakening into my abilities, knowing that I had abilities, that I had psychic abilities, or that I have psychic abilities. They just weren't woken up yet, or they weren't waking up the right way. They were beginning to wake up because everything I have been through and that with the people that I had dealt with had kind of prepared me for being psychic, like tapping into an energy and understanding people and stuff, understanding human nature. Um, and I was able to see like the good and the bad, and it was like really, really good and really, really bad. Um, and my need for like having some kind of balance. Uh, I wasn't able to get the balance I needed, and I have bipolar disorder, so of course, you know, I was way out there. Um, there were things that just made no sense at all that I was talking about. Um, so I think you know this time like it's different. I haven't had a psychotic issue. I've actually had my medicine adjusted, and I've stopped drinking. So I've stopped drinking temporarily. I'll probably have a drink or two once in a while, you know, once every month or something. But just for a while, I haven't really felt like having any. So what? Since I stopped drinking, I've become more in tune with my psychicness. Um, I feel like it's hard for me to talk about because I'm afraid that no one will take me seriously and they'll think that I'm having a psychotic problem again. Um, I think one thing with me is I feel things extremely deep, and the way I deal with them is to write about them, to talk about them. I don't want to hide from anything. If there's anything I can't stand, it's people who choose to hide, people who choose to just, you know, just hide. Like they don't want to acknowledge the truth about anything. And I mean, it's so hard to explain. Just some people, you know, there's just some people they hide their truth, you know, and they won't come forward and they won't say things that I think need to be said. And it's sad, you know. Um, I feel like I really feel like I have a gift. My gift is tapping into the souls that are alone. So I mean the people who are separated from their soulmate. Um, I think my glasses are rubbing up against my nose so much. Sorry, I know I'm breaking tone here. Um, I'm always afraid that if I say too much about how I have a gift in psychic realm and that I'm spiritual and I believe in new age type philosophy, that I'm going to be called crazy, and that they're going to like up my meds to the point where I can't feel a damn thing. And I don't think that's fair, especially since I haven't been drinking. Like, it's not like I'm drinking and you know it's interfering with my meds. So this is something I'm grappling with. I'm finding now people are resonating with my readings. Um, I have friends in the tarot community that respect me, and that means a lot because I know how hard at work they are, um, especially since their readings are a little different. They tend to tap into specific energies. I'm more of a general energy person. Um, it's just how I am. Um, I think my original thing that broke me into the bipolar diagnosis was the thing that was preparing me for what I do now. And I had a lot of things that I went through. I kind of had two things that happened together. My mom had a heart attack, and I was like in love with this guy, trying to get this guy, and we were going to meet up, and then we didn't. And so I've talked about him before. I'm not going to talk about him on this. I just want to just mention that it was happening like at the same time, and I was feeling these love feelings for him, and then like I had these feelings like, oh my god, my mom's gonna die. I'm so scared. I don't want her to die, and um, I it was a lot. It was a lot to go through, and when I went through that with her, it just brought home the point even more that I needed to make sure that what I do with my life means something and that it helps people. And I feel like the tarot readings of tapping into the people that are alone out there, it's like being there for the people who are alone and lonely is important. Because I think when you deal with being alone and you're carrying it on your own, it becomes being lonely. It doesn't become being alone and liking being alone. It becomes more like I'm alone because that's what I am, because that's what's going on here, you know. And I have my parents. I'm extremely fortunate and thankful. I'm gonna take off my glasses. Let's see if I got a red mark. No, I'll take off my glasses. They're like rubbing on my nose. I've been wearing them longer than usual. So now you get to see me without my glasses, guys. And now I can barely see myself on the camera, but that's okay because I'm just talking. I'm not reading cards. So, so as I said, my video didn't upload. So what I'm gonna do is I'll tell you a little bit what I had in that video that I think was really important to talk about, and then I'll just leave some of the other stuff out. On back to the psychic abilities. Um, when I was a kid, I used to be able to see ghosts, but that was when I was a really little kid. When I became about 8 or 9, I didn't have that ability anymore. In fact, I didn't really have any psychic abilities. They were dormant until I hit about 10 or 11 when I got my period. That's when I started to be able to have a few instances where I could kind of tap into different energies, especially when it came to medical issues. Like, I could help out, just give a little advice to people about things. And and in fact, recently I did that for somebody in my family. Like, I kind of like helped them. And I mean, I probably shouldn't even say that, but uh, I'm not a healer by any means. Not that, but it's like I have an intuition about things like that. But when it comes to my tarot readings, it's all about love, and it's all about people in separation and people taking care of themselves and preparing themselves for meeting a good person, being prepared to receive the relationship that unfolds in a good way. Um, I did have a conversation, but it was more like channeling in my journal. Um, I talked to my guardian angel, my grandpa, and then I talked to my spirit guide. I won't mention her name. She's been with me since birth. It's very sacred. Um, and she told me who my twin flame is. And my grandpa was like, okay, there's two sides to this, so you need to think of the other side too. It's not just you, it's the other side, the other person. And, like, I wouldn't trade that for anything. And I don't think I should have to. Um, being tapped into source, being able to have spiritual connection to people that you knew in your past and that are passed on, and spirit guides and angels is special, and everybody has that. I think everybody. It doesn't matter what religion you believe, or it doesn't matter at all. You're human, so you have a source to tap into all of these people or spirits, whatever you want to call group of helpers. I'll even call them helpers. They're angels. We'll call them like guardian angels, okay? Like you tap into like this guardian energy, and it's something that's special. Um, it's so difficult to accept it in myself because I'm so afraid that somebody's gonna try to take this away from me. But I want to be like, well, I'm not drinking, and this is happening. So like all the stuff they'd be afraid is happening if I drink and take my meds didn't happen. I didn't have like psychic issues or psychic. Well, I don't know if issues. I didn't have that feeling like I was really able to communicate the way I am now. I was shut off from it, and I was numb, and I was denying myself. It's the only way I can put it. Even though I was getting one thing fulfilled, talking to person that I've been dealing with for a while. Even though like I had that fulfilled and I was really getting something good from that, that was part of the good thing about it. The fact that I was numbing myself and trying to, I don't know, find my crowd through drinking was like denying myself the chance to really find people that I could truly connect to. Because when you drink, you're never completely yourself, I don't think. I think you're an aspect of yourself when you drink. Like there's people you say that's a mean drunk, and then you see this person, oh, that's a sad drunk, and then you see this person, she's a giggly drunk. Well, it's like that. It's like your intensified part of you that's just one aspect of you. And for some people, it's like a hidden aspect. It's like something that was always there and lie dormant until the alcohol brought it out of them. And that's dangerous because, it could be like somebody who's like nice, and then when they drink, they become abusive. They start beating people up and all that. There's a history of alcoholism in my family. And Like, so for the last 2 months, I haven't had anything. I think I had something maybe in April. I had like a glass of wine, or I had a few things when my mom was going through the stuff, the hospital. Um, and then I had some. Me and mom had gone to the casino like after all that had happened, and I had like a glass of wine or two. But other than that, I haven't like gone to the bar and drunk anything. No, wait a minute. Once I did, but it wasn't to see the guy. It was a different bar. Um, just going there to get some dinner. But like that's when I realized, it's like, this really isn't for me. Like this going to the bar, drinking, sitting alone, watching a TV. It's like if I'm gonna do that, I might as well just do it at home. Uh, excuse me. Since I live with somebody in my family who's an alcoholic, we don't have alcohol in the house. So I'm like, okay, I'll just not drink. So far, it's been working, and I've actually kind of seen home as a refuge now. I know there's a lot of silence in this. It's just that I had poured out my heart in the other video, but I know that this is the right one to go up because, well, for one thing, I didn't have the laptop far enough away, so my head was like this, like I was like the Snapple lady. I was like in the bottom of the screen. uh, so, like, I'm grappling with this. Um, I do believe in twin flames since I did get the channel message that I found mine. Um, and I won't say who it is. However, one interesting thing was she did not say anything about a mission. Like, how people talk about the twin flames and how they get together and they have a mission? She didn't say that. All she said was that you're one soul and you're split into two. And then, of course, I'm still racking my head around. I'm like, how is that possible? We walk around, we're apart, we're like walking around, we live in separate places, like, we have different lives, how is that possible? But apparently, we're very close, very close. And I believe that. I do believe that, considering the experiences I had with this person. But um, I feel like now is the time for me to really to really delve into my abilities to help people learn how to love and accept themselves. So I've spent like 30 years with a cloud hanging over my head of like, man, I really messed up. I messed up. Um, wish I had done this differently. Had that like all my life. Um, and like I had an epiphany like just like a week ago. Maybe it wasn't even a week. It was like a couple days ago. It was like, when I did those bad things in my past, I really didn't know any better. I didn't know how it could affect people. And so I consider myself innocent. And I think that's how a lot of people need to see things, no matter what age they are. If it's something that they did and they feel bad about, and they really didn't understand the consequences, they can forgive themselves, and the other person probably has already forgiven them. It depends on what it is, but they may have like not really thought anything of what you thought was so horrible. So um I mean that's something that I've had to deal with, and uh, a lot of bad self-talk to myself, a lot of, well, I'm paying for this debt, and like this is why this isn't working, because I'm paying off a debt, I'm paying off a karmic debt, I'm paying off all this stuff. And like, because I kept thinking that, I think I got in my own way and stopped myself from moving farther ahead. And so now that I accept myself and I forgive myself with problems that I caused, at least things that I saw as a problem, things that I did that I, I'm upset that I did. Um, I feel like I can move on from it. And it's possible that this message is going out to somebody who needs to hear it now. Maybe this is what they need to hear now. Maybe they messed up in the past or something they did, and they just haven't been able to forgive themselves for it, and they just have to say, oh, I just didn't know any better. Or even if I knew better, but I didn't understand how there's consequences. I didn't understand how it could affect somebody else. Um, I think that's something that's important to keep in mind with any kind of mistakes where you really feel like you messed up bad. And yeah, obviously there's some things if you do them, because you can't really. Yeah, you can kind of like explain it, but it might not totally be absolved. But um, yeah, I'm kind of deep in thought right now, trying to remember what I had said in the other video. I had some really profound things, and then I had things where I said, man, I gotta phrase that differently. Um, One thing I thought that I said that was interesting, I talked about my mom almost passing away. She had a heart attack and she almost died. And I had this thought about, how people talk about, oh, everything is predestined, it's fated, but we have free will. So I'm like, well, how does that work? How can you have destiny and then have free will? And I thought the only way it could be is like if like life is like a highway, you have exits, and then like sometimes you go on one exit and then you end up coming back, and then the other exit takes you away, and it's like you're called to go the other way. And I think that's kind of how it is. I think life is like that. I think it is like you're driving along, and you're called to go one way and you're called to come back, and then but then another time you're called to go away, and then that's it, you're off the highway, you go into another place that needs you and accepts you more than what you could do here on the highway. So that's kind of how I see death. It's kind of how I've made peace with it, is that when people do pass away, and especially if it's sudden, that there may be things that wherever they're going, they are able to fulfill their mission better when they're on the other side than if they're here right now in the flesh, in the 3D world, if you want to call it that. People talk about the 5D world, and I think it exists, but what I consider the 5D is like swirling dreams. Like the 5D exists, but it is possibilities. It's not what is, it's what could be. Think about it. Let's say two people are married up in the 5D, right? And they're trying to get their 3D people to get together. What if the 3D people split up? Those two up there can't still be married. What if those two people that are on the plane of Earth decide, hey, I'm never talking to you again. I'm out of here. I'm with her, or, whatever. Or I'm going to go with him, not you. And it, it doesn't make any sense to me. That's my opinion. I feel like there's a 5D that is a dream dimension. It's a possibility dimension. Then I think there's like another side, which is what they call the other side, which is like people who've passed on. That I think exists. That I think is real. And I think that those people that passed on become guardian angels. And they interact with regular angels, the archangels, and I guess there's other angels too. I have no idea how this works. Um, there's different elements like that. Then I guess there's those elementals, like fairies and I don't know if fairies exist, but there's a devil and there's like all these bad things too. Um, I don't know. I really don't know if they all exist, but the things that I do really believe exist is like the three-dimensional reality of Earth, people living on Earth, and then you have the spirit world. And I think those are definitely together. And then I think there is like a dream world of a possibility of people playing house, but they're not quite together yet. And then if something happens and there's free will, they go, they just part ways. It goes poof. The dream doesn't exist anymore. That's just my thought. That's my opinion. Um, so that was one thing I discussed. Another thing I discussed was my NaNoWriMo book. I have not written on it for like 2 weeks. I'm not sure I'm going to write any more on it this month. I feel like I've been devoting my time to the my tarot writing, and I think that I like the direction of the book. It's a romance, however, it has a new age theme. It talks about the twin flame journey. But now that I think that twin flames don't have to have a mission, it might really change things in the book. Um, it may change how these two interact. It may not be about a mission. It may be more of they they come together and they work together. They work on something together, but it's not necessarily like this life or death mission type of thing. Um, so so I believe that so that's going in a different direction than I thought. It was originally going to be just a romance type novel, and it became like comedy, literary romance, and new age. And I wished it was like an inspirational new age fiction like Christianity has, but I haven't seen anything like that. So maybe I'll start a new genre. And if you write things like that, I'd be interested in talking with you. Maybe you can, um, maybe we can get together. I mean, like talk on YouTube or something. In fact, there's somebody named Sarah Sharnweber who just welcomed me to the author community, so I'm shouting out to her. Thank you, Sarah. Um, so that was very nice. I'm happy to see her. I think I've seen some of her videos before, so I was really excited when she came and subscribed to my channel. That was nice. She commented, so that was cool. Um, so I'm still kind of letting the book marinate. It just needed some time to just stew and simmer, and I needed to live a little bit more and get more into the spiritual elements that I'm in right now to really be able to make a good book. I feel like, yeah, I haven't been reading the romance novels as much. In fact, I started reading a Noel Roberts book. It's kind of got I guess it's sort of like a tragic romantic book. Like there's tragedy in it, and then There's romance also that kind of comes from the tragedy, I guess. It's called The Obsession, and it's about this girl who, well, woman, when she was a girl, she witnessed her father commit a horrible crime, and she actually is able to save the person that was involved that had been abused by him. And that's where I left off. So tomorrow I'm actually going to read more of it. Um, so I felt like that's more serious, and it's kind of more what I feel like reading right now. I'm kind of like in a state of like, I would say depression. Been in a state of depression since I had my period. It's kind of going away now, but boy, when that thing hits, it's like a hurricane, man. It's awful. I have worst periods. Blame it on my Cancer rising sign. The moon in my Aries. I got extra moon in my sign. Got the extra moon prize. Woohoo! There's this game at the casino. It's got wolves. They say, extra moon prize. And the wolf goes, ooh. It's hilarious. I love it. It's such an abusive game. Oh my god. It gives you like chintziest bonuses. You think you're gonna get like $20 in the bonus, you get like, I don't know, the dollar or maybe 50 cents. It's awful. But the like graphics, the graphics on it are kind of cool, and it has like an interesting look. Looks like the old time slot machines, but everything's really bright and lit up. Kind of cool. Uh, anyways, I don't know. I touched on a lot of the things that I was talking about in there. It's amazing what happens when you edit, huh? It's a good writing lesson. Read it out loud and then like edit it, but like edit a lot out. Let's see. Oh, I can't see the time. Oh, 37 minutes. Yeah, it's a lot less time than what it was. It's like an hour. Um, think think that's all I'm gonna say. I am extremely tired. I just wanted to check in, and I don't want you guys to be worried. I mean, I did have one. I just felt like this is a better one. Um, you can go to my blog sketchwriterjess.com and see my newest pick a card that has the notes. It's the one that's on this channel, so it has the notes. I am planning on writing some of those for the shop, and they're kind of in that format of having a link that you pick and then it goes to the pile that you want. So like the document has that. And it doesn't have a video, it's just a document, and it has like the whole wrap up and stuff like that for each pile. On the blog, I made it like a teaser. I tried to do more like, well, here's one part, but like the rest is in the video, just to get people to watch the video as well. Because, I spend a lot of time making these videos, and I like that, people are watching them now, and it's fun. It's fun to make my own films. So, that's what I'm doing. That's what I've been doing. I've been just doing these films, and I've kind of like found my voice. I found my voice, and like once the cat's out of the bag, you can't take it back. And I think one reason why this person that I've really fell for, who I try to cut myself off from, why I fell for them was there were just moments where we talked, and it was like I would think to myself, ah, ah, the cat's out of the bag. He said that, you know, the cat's out of the bag, and so it's like I still think that. um, so uh, yeah, Instagram, I'm on there. Sketchwriter Jess, Instagram, 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 Instagram. It's like I'm on there all the time. Um, so I have other things that I want to discuss, but I'll save them for another video. I think once I delve more into my spirituality and this tarot journey, I think I'm gonna be making more videos that have to do with spirituality as well. Won't just be tarot readings, and coming to terms with my psychic abilities, my energy tapping abilities, my ability to give people that hope that they don't have to be alone in their mental illness. They don't have to be alone and feeling different from people. Um, so I think that's it for tonight. Um, like, share, and subscribe if you find this video helpful. If you want to see more, obviously subscribe. If you don't like it, press dislike. Be respectful if you want to say something. If you like it, wonderful. If you want to comment, awesome. I'm sure I'll get back to most of you. I mean, I'll see how it goes. I mean, it can get to a point where, like, you know how, like, you'll have everybody comment and, like, the person gets back to everybody? I've seen that sometimes and I'm like, whoa, that is way too much. Way too much. Like, today I posted on somebody's comment and I didn't know it went too many times. It's like, oh god, they probably think I'm crazy, like a stalker or something. Or like over eager to have them on my commenting thing. But then I was just like, well, it was a nice thing I said, so like it's extra blessings, right? So I figure it's fine. So until tomorrow, I'm probably going to do a tarot reading tomorrow, some kind of twin flame one. I don't know which one yet. And most likely like a souls in separation. Even it doesn't even have to be twin flame. It can be soulmates too. Nothing wrong with soulmates. Now that I found out that the twin flame really it's soulmates anyways. It's not just a mission. I kind of am like, well, soulmates and twin flames are like pretty much the same thing. Just I think the twin flames are more intense because you're sharing the soul with that person. You know what I mean? Like you and that other person are split. It's your soul. And you're split in half. Almost like Adam and Eve, how Adam took out his rib, created Eve. Well, it's the same kind of thing. I think it's the same kind of thing. Maybe that's even what people understood at the time. Somebody passed it down to them and told them, hey, most people they have this other half, this split. Very interesting. Okay, so now I am officially going off. I bid you good night. Good night, my friends. Sleep tight. Don't let the ants get you. Bye.